Episode 183. Today we recap the Mariners series and preview the upcoming series against the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to the Bucko Banter podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Order steak by the plates, and in case after case, run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snake.
Welcome back to another episode. If I seem not excited, it's because the Pirates scored no runs this weekend, and it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday, and we just got back from Seattle. So, quick weekend trip across the country. It was fun. Wish the Pirates played a little bit better, though.
The only team to shut out somebody for an entire series and then get shut out immediately after. And
2-1 nothing. Yeah.
Took it right out of my mouth, man. Just the peak of Pirates baseball. And we were talking about this a little bit over the weekend about the recent winning streak going into the All-Star break and the facade that, like, this is a good team, right? That things are changing. Let's get a couple things clear. It's the same team. They still can't hit. They had a couple stretches. Fine. Good. You cannot keep moving forward with this same group. And I think I'm never happy when they're losing, but I think this was a really good reality check right after the recent success. This road trip, I think, is going to be quite the into the All-Star break, where the trades that need to happen should happen. They shouldn't be quote unquote buyers and fool everybody to thinking that this is going to work. We're not squinting anymore, right? This is the same team, and they need to make the necessary moves to get better, or else you're just going to kind of hover around mediocrity and try and trick people into thinking that this formula is going to work. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, we joke around and say that don't let the Buccos get hot. I think we all know, and if we're not taking that too seriously, that this team is not good enough to compete how it's currently constructed. And Ben needs to be aggressive in the next couple weeks here. And everything he says recently would lead me to believe that he is going to be aggressive. But we've heard this coach speak before. So, I'm sorry if I'm skeptical. Also today, the Washington Nationals fired their manager and their GM. Their GM mid-season, a week before they picked number 1 overall in the MLB draft.
Yes.
And they probably have a brighter outlook than the Pirates right now. They have a guy named James Wood, who's one of the best young stars in baseball. And Dave Martinez has a World Series ring as a manager. Mike Rizzo is one of the more well-known GMs in baseball, but they're like, hey, we don't want to go into this mid-season letting you make the decisions for the team anymore. That's how strongly they felt. They want to cut the ties right now. So that is possible. Don't ever see that happening in Pittsburgh. I'm nervous. As I've said before, I feel uneasy about Ben making those decisions in the next few weeks, but he's going to. So buckle up.
And the Nationals have such a high ceiling with just the current group that they have right now. In CJ Abrams, James Wood, like you mentioned, Mackenzie Gore. That's a good team. That has the potential to be a very good team. If Dylan Cruz ever finds his way there, which I think he will, it's upsetting, man. It really is. Go all the way to Seattle and not score a run. Just from our...
on the bright side, I had fun.
I had a great time. Shout out Marine Layer.
Shout out Marine Layer. That was awesome getting to know those guys or getting to meet them in person. Staying with our friends Dylan and Cora, gracious hosts. I'm very excited to make that trip again because Seattle is a beautiful city. I wish the weather was like that all year round here. No humidity. It felt perfect most of the time.
Yep. And
the ballpark, I almost said Safeco, not Safeco, it's T-Mobile. Very beautiful ballpark. Very beautiful ballpark. One of the best, easily.
The food was unreal. So good. We had a Hawaiian plate, a crab sandwich, the press box was awesome. We got to chop it up with the boys, but good road trip for us. We had a lot of fun. We got a lot done. Some good content coming your way. Before we get into the recaps, go over to tseshop.com for all your Pittsburgh sports memorabilia needs. You want your Pirates autographs? Go get them now before the All-Star break. Don't know who's going to be around. Get that autograph while you can and while it's available. Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, whatever you want, Total Sports Enterprises has you covered. Go to tseshop.com. You can go in the description below, click the link, and let them know Bucko Banter sent you. Scott, couple of headlines. Yohan Ramirez signed to a minor league deal for the Pirates.
He was just DFA'd, so I guess he cleared waivers, right?
Correct. And then Oviedo is in Bradenton for a rehab assignment. Other than that, here's a little bit of a headline, more of a story, maybe a sad one. The Pirates have let up the least amount of runs in the National League.
We talked about this last week, didn't we?
I believe we did.
Or I think I brought it up from a divisional standpoint. I don't know if I knew that from a league standpoint.
In the National League, the Pirates have let up the least amount of runs. And their record is what their record is, simply because they cannot hit. They cannot move runners in scoring position. So, same old story. You don't need us to let you know the obvious of what's happening. Let's get into the games. Scott, why don't you get us kicked off?
Yeah, before we get into the games real quick, too, Paul Skeens is our lone all-star. So, big shocker there.
Yeah.
We'll be going to Atlanta. So, Friday. Let's go down to the first game in Seattle, 6-0 loss. We were runless in Seattle on day one. Falter went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 3 earned, no walks, 4 Ks, 3 homers. Cal Raleigh, we were laughing going up to the press box because we heard the pregame host for Mariners radio say over the speakers that he predicted 2 home runs. That Cal Raleigh would get to 35. We're like, yeah, okay. He did. So that was pretty crazy watching him make history there and hit him in historic fashion, man. Like those balls were crushed. Anyways, not to glaze Cal Raleigh too much, but Falter's ERA is at 3.69. He has 10 whiffs. Ashcraft came in, went 2 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 2 Ks. I believe he gave up a home run to Dylan Moore. That was the last homer. His ERA sits at 2.29. Offensively, not too much to talk about. Nicky G went 3 for 4 with a double, averaged at 3.08. Cabrian Hayes and IKF each stole a bag. They're at 10 and 11 respectively on the year. 5 hits total, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, 8 left on base, 12 Ks against Brian Wu, who's a absolute stud. Tough first game offensively for the Pirates.
It continues to Saturday. They had 2 hits on Saturday, Scott. They lost 1-0. The 2 hits both came off the bat of Spencer Horwitz, 2 for 4. His average is at 250 right now. Obviously, didn't have any runners in scoring position. 3 left on base, 11 strikeouts. Mike Burrows had a solid outing, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned, 4 walks, 6 Ks, 11 whiffs. Caleb Ferguson went 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk. Isaac Matson continues to just be unreal. 1 1/3. No hits, 3 Ks. He's got a 1.50 ERA, 4 whiffs. And then Dennis Santana came in to finish the game. 1 inning, no hits.
Just real quick, Mike Burrows has been one of the better pitchers, not just on this team, but in the league recently in his last few starts. He's been really impressive. I've loved what I've seen from Mike Burrows. But let's go into Sunday. Paul Skeens, all business, man. We know Paul's all business. Came in 5 innings, 5 hits, no earned, no walks. 10 Ks. Got pulled after 79 pitches. A little bit surprised to see that. 1.94 ERA. I think he had 11 whiffs. Majinski went 2 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks. Gave up a homer to Randy Arozarena, which would be the lone run in today's game. Genesis Cabrera went 1/3 of an inning, no hits. Tommy Pham, 2 for 4. Average up to 237. Kutch, Henry Davis, and IKF each single, 5 hits total, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, 6 left on base, and 13 Ks. George Kirby had a big bounce back outing for the Mariners. He's had a rough start to the season. Paul looked great. Story with all of his starts, but gets another no decision.
before we move on, Noah had a article that we talked to him about a little bit in Seattle about potential trade moves, and teams are calling. And it's the suspects that we kind of figured months ago, right? Mitch Keller was a name that we threw out a while ago on this podcast, and now it's become more and more of a reality that the Pirates are facing, that Mitch Keller probably yields you the biggest return for a team that's looking for starting pitching. And there are a lot of teams that are looking for starting pitching. Brian Reynolds was mentioned in Noah's article. There is a no trade clause there to some very specific teams. I believe it's the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Giants. Am I missing any more?
There's 6, aren't there? Hold on, I have it up right now. Yankees, Blue Jays, Mets, Dodgers, Giants, Padres.
So
interesting. No coastal teams.
Yeah, you could figure that out for yourself what that means, but Brian Reynolds won't get traded to those teams unless he approves it. Things need to change. We were talking about it. We see it more and more as we're out on the field and talking to major league clubs around the league. Just the overall vibe, right? The personalities that make up a good team. And that's not a knock on a lot of the guys on this current club. There's a lot of good guys.
Yeah,
exactly. But when it comes to winning and having that chemistry for 162 plus, you need something to change here. Like, it's an obvious difference from dugout to dugout of what you're seeing. And that's with every single club that's come into town.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we go over to the other side this weekend and you see all the pitchers are together. You got Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, Bryce Miller. We got George Kirby. Cole Young was awesome. A lot of the young guys were meshing with the older guys. Like, it just seemed like a completely different vibe. And maybe that changes when you win, obviously, but a little bit more of a personality in that clubhouse too. So, or in that dugout. I don't know. Yeah, we're not in the clubhouse, so we don't know, but it definitely feels different. I'll say that.
100%. Well, Scott, let's take a break right here, and then we will be back with a preview of the Kansas City Royals. Scott, we're back with another road trip, this time in Kansas City. The Royals currently sit at 42-48, third in the AL Central. You know a lot of the talent that they have in that team with Bobby Witt Jr. Before we get into it, go to Sports Card Junction for all of your hobby needs: baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, Pokemon, much, much more. You could find it at Sports Card Junction. You can visit their website, sportscardjunction.com. You can go to their eBay, but I recommend going to the store, opening up a pack of cards, chatting with the fine folks at Sports Card Junction. Again, that's Sports Card Junction, 9011 Perry Highway. Scott, let's go to Monday. Left-handed pitcher Noah Cameron versus Andrew Heaney. This year, Cameron 2-4 with a 2.56 ERA, 56 1/3 innings pitched, 10 games, 43 Ks with a 1.01 WHIP. Just Baseball's number 6 prospect in the Royal system, 7th-round pick out of Central Arkansas in 2021. The arsenal is a 4-seam change, slider, curve, cutter, advanced feel for pitching and sequencing, excellent command on all 4 pitches, deceptive delivery and repeatable mechanics. Fastball slightly below average velocity, but plays up due to deception and command. He tunnels it well with his off-speed offerings, shows some ride up in the zone, though it lacks overpowering traits. And then the changeup is his best secondary pitch. Excellent arm speed, deception with fade in depth. Effective against both righties and lefties, has shown the ability to get swings and misses and weak contact on the changeup.
Let's go to Saturday. We got Seth Lugo versus Mitch Keller this year. The veteran is 6-5 with a 2.65 ERA and 95 innings pitched, 16 games started, 83 Ks, a 109 WHIP. I don't know if I believe this or not. Baseball Savant has a 10-pitch mix here. I think, TrackMan or whatever is reading different variants of the same pitch as multiple pitches. That's what it seems like, at least. He has a 4-seam and a curve. That's what he's known for. The sinker, cutter, change, slurve, slider, slow curve, sweeper, split. So I think he maybe slows up that curve a little bit. He's got a deep and versatile pitch mix, high spin rates across the board. That's what he's known for. His fastball sits in the low to mid 90s with solid life up in the zone. Plays well due to excellent command and late movement. Though it's not a swing and miss pitch, right? It's more of a, strike on the corners, command pitch. The curveball is his signature offering. He's always been known for that. Features one of the highest spin rates in baseball. It's like an 80 grade curveball, giving it sharp vertical break and true wipeout potential. It generates whiffs and freezes hitters alike. One of the best curveballs in all of baseball. I think it's over 3,200 RPM. Yeah. It's disgusting, but this is a veteran who knows how to pitch. This is not going to be an easy matchup for the Pirates.
And then Sunday doesn't get much easier. Another lefty in Chris Bubich versus potentially Bailey Falter. This year, Bubich is 7-6 with a 2.36 ERA in 103 innings pitched, 17 games, 107 Ks with a 1.15 WHIP. The Arsenal, four-seam sweeper, change, slider, sinker. Excellent changeup with strong tunneling, deceptive delivery from the left side and solid command. The fastball is average velocity with arm side movement. Plays better when located well, especially inside to righties. Tends to get hit hard when left up in the zone. And then the changeup, as we mentioned, when he tunnels it, it's great, but this is definitely the signature pitch here. Plus grade offering with excellent fade and deception. Generates whiffs and weak contact, particularly effective against right-handed hitters. The Pirates have their work cut out for them against this rotation.
Yeah, they absolutely do, man. Noah Cameron's a good young lefty, and then Chris Bubich has been one of the better pitchers in all baseball this year, plus a vet in Seth Lugo. Kansas City won't be a cakewalk. None of them are, really. Let's get into the players of the week to cut this episode off and get some sleep tonight. Adam, why don't you give us the hitter of the week?
The hitter of the week is going to be Tommy Pham. This was pretty difficult to get through. Yeah. Tommy Pham went 5 for 14 on the week. He had a couple of RBIs. He drew a walk, but his at-bats have been better as of late. It's slightly encouraging, but just overall, even that Cardinal series where they swept them, didn't give up a run, there wasn't any significant games from the Pirates offense. So there's some guys that had some good games, but throughout the week, there wasn't any crazy stretches. So Tommy Pham, probably for the first time this year, is the hitter of the week.
Yeah, love it. We've talked about it a lot recently, but big Tommy Pham fans. Saw him on the field this weekend, so let him play shortstop 1 inning, Pirates, please. Pitcher of the week, Andrew Heaney. I could have gotten Paul Skeens here easily, but Andrew Heaney had a really impressive outing to start the week off against the Cardinals at home. Carried a no-hitter into the 6th inning. Went 6 2/3, 3 hits, no earned, 1 walk, 7 Ks. One of his better outings this year. We're going to see him tomorrow against Kansas City. But, he's a guy that's probably going to be gone in a couple weeks, not to dampen the pitcher of the week conversation. But, want to see some more outings like that in the next 2 starts. So, Andrew Heaney is your pitcher of the week. Anything else we want to talk about here before we end off this episode 183?
No, I want to get out of here, man. It's been a long weekend. If it was low energy, we apologize because, again, we just got off the plane.
Yeah.
In Seattle. We came right home and started recording. So it's been quite the weekend, but a fun weekend with the boys. We're going to have some good content coming out your way. Go to YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review, download the episodes, go get your Bucko Banter merch, support the boys. We appreciate everybody. And until next time, raise it.
Raise it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates and